Hey guys, this is Lady Vegan Fitness of Live, Love, Aspire coming to you today talking about vegan resources that you can reach out to. So, I've had a number of people reach out to me and ask me about veganism and vegetarianism. So, I wanted to do this video to give you some resources to read or view if you're interested in the lifestyle. So, I'm going to mention some documentaries. I'm also going to mention some books you can read as well. So I wanted to give you a little bit of background about me. So I mentioned Live, Love, Aspire because that is my business. My business is Live, Love, Aspire. The website is www.liveloveaspire.com. Now, I am a professional life coach. I do job coaching as well. I do image consulting, and I'm a certified personal trainer. So I'm very interested in the health and wellness lifestyle. I train for competitions, whether it be bodybuilding, fitness. I'm also right now training for a marathon, so you'll see lots of videos on race prep updates as well. So look out for those videos. And I also do pageantry. I have a pageant coming up next month as well. So I do a lot of things, and you'll see a lot of videos on a lot of those events. So my top 5 documentaries that helped me really understand and learn about veganism and vegetarianism as well were, well, let me break this down into categories rather than giving you my top 5, and this is in no particular order. The first one I looked at for health reasons was Forks Over Knives. I thought this was great to teach you about how important it is to have a plant-based diet, plant-based lifestyle, and the benefits to your health of doing that. So I thought this was great. And again, all of these documentaries are really free on YouTube, so you can look them up. So I really liked Forks Over Knives again because of the health, how they teach you about the healthy benefits of living a plant-based lifestyle rather than meat. Another video I thought was really great was Diet for a New America, when it talks about a doctor. There's a few doctors in there that have done studies from other countries about the benefits, about people that have led plant-based diets as opposed to people that actually eat meat. And I think they did a study, I believe it was in China, about some of the older citizens of China, that I believe it's China, where they did a study on the older generations that lived plant-based lifestyles or plant-based diets as opposed to the newer generation where they probably have access to more money, and now there's McDonald's all over the place. And so the differences between that generation and the younger generation, and they did studies of their cholesterol, their high blood pressure, and how their overall health, and they found astonishing results that they said the older generation seems a lot more healthier, and now that the younger generation has access to more meat, more McDonald's, etc., they're starting to incur the same diseases and illnesses that people in Western societies have. So I thought that was a really good documentary, particularly for health. So as we get into because there's a few different types of veganism, or I should say people come into veganism for different reasons. They come into veganism because of health, and that was me. I cared about my health. I wanted to do better in terms of taking care of my body. Also, people come because of cruelty to animals, because they don't like the cruelty that's going on to animals. The best documentary for that, if you want to learn more about what goes on with the animals before it comes to your plate, Earthlings is probably the best documentary for that. Now, I warn you, with Earthlings, it's a documentary that you watch and you're totally disgusted, because really the animals are slaughtered. They are sort of raped, they're slaughtered, they're bruised. Chickens, they cut their beaks off. Everything you can name, they're doing to the animals before it gets to your plate. And so if you're not into that type of thing, then don't watch the documentary, because it is brutal. And a lot of people that watch that documentary, they immediately turn vegetarian or vegan. It's a sad reality what's happening to the animals, but it's true. This is what happens. And you have to know this, because you have to understand where your meals are coming from. It's one thing to be educated on this and still go along with it, which is fine. And it's another thing to just be ignorant about it. So that's a documentary. Again, here's my warning. It's definitely a brutal documentary to watch. So we mentioned Forks Over Knives, A Diet for a New America, Earthlings. Another documentary I thought that covered a lot of different aspects of veganism was Vegucated, where they take participants in a study that lead meat-based lifestyles, that want to lead healthier lifestyles. They take them from eating meat to actually the journey of veganism, eating more plant-based diets. But they don't just cover the health aspect, they also cover the cruelty to animals. They also take the participants in the study into different farms, factory farms, where they're slaughtering animals, where they are shooting the pigs and raping the cows and things like that. And I think it sort of gives you a balance between the slaughtering the animals and also the benefits of eating healthier. Because in the beginning they show them what their blood pressure is, their cholesterol, and then they take them to the end where they go back to the doctor and they see the benefits to their body and to their health, and how beneficial eating a plant-based diet is. So I thought that's probably a great one to start off with. I would actually start up with Vegucated. I didn't know anything about it when I started vegetarianism, but I think this is actually a great video to start with. And another one is Cowspiracy. Now this one, I believe, deals more with the environmental aspects of dealing with animals and having to raise so many animals to be able to feed us. And so it talks about what it takes to raise, let's say, one cow. Well, in order to raise one cow, you have to feed the cow. They're feeding them food, and they're feeding them grains and things like that grains and food and they have to actually give the cow lots and lots of water. Well, these resources we could actually use to feed people. So the resources that we could use to feed people really all over the world, we're using to actually raise one cow that's probably going to one person's dinner. And they make the argument that it's not really sustainable. Plant-based diets are more sustainable than raising whole herds of cows and pigs and animals like that. And so they make a great case. Also, the cow got to poop. Where do you think the poop is going? The poop is going into our water sources, probably. So, things like that they talk about. So I think they dive more into the environmental aspect. And if you're coming to veganism because you're more of an environmentalist and you care about the earth, you care about the planet, then that might be the video or the documentary that you want to start off with. So again, I'll give you my list. Forks Over Knives, Diet for a New America, Vegucated, Earthlings, and Cowspiracy. I think those are my top 5 documentaries if you want to just get a quick glimpse of the vegan lifestyle, why people choose veganism, why they choose vegetarianism. So again, let me give you a difference between veganism and vegetarianism. So both vegans and vegetarians don't eat meat. So that includes beef, pork, poultry, and fish. Vegans, however, also don't consume products from cows such as milk, cheese, dairy, eggs, or chickens do eggs, things like that. They don't do that, and they don't wear certain materials that are made from animals, such as wool, furs, and silk as well. So, depending on why you come to veganism, certain vegans assume certain aspects, certain vegans assume certain other aspects. Like if you're a health food vegan and you just came into veganism for health, you may actually wear wool, fur, and silk. I personally still have leather products. I'll admit I still have some leather. And so I think it's just really a journey into the lifestyle. I think that you take it phase by phase by phase. I think as long as you're cutting meat out in the beginning, and you're slowly or cutting down on meat, you're getting there. I think it's all a learning process, and it's phases that you kind of go through. So you may start off coming into veganism for the health aspects, and you may actually learn more about, like I did. I learned more about the clothes that we wear. I learned more about the environment as well, and how that also affects the cruelty to animals, and also affects our body, etc., etc. So, so I also wanted to talk about the books as well. So this book is called By Any Means Necessary, and it's by Tracy McQuarter. And this is a book that I started out with learning um, more about different foods, more about why vegetarianism or veganism is essential to our diet, is essential to our lifestyle. Again, the book is called By Any Means Necessary, and it is by Tracy Lynn McQuarter. Hopefully I'm not messing her name up. I actually went to see a seminar by her, and she actually cooked a meal, a really delicious meal that was plant-based. And so this is one of the books that I used when I started my journey. And she actually also talks about, she gives you she actually talks about the foods and different foods and stuff like that, and she gives some recipes in there. She of course starts off about why plant-based diets are the best diets to have. Sorry, I had to actually exit because somebody rang my doorbell, so sorry about that. Okay. The next book I really like is called The Vegan Soul Food Guide. So this is a very good book as well, and this is by Afia Abomu. So this is another book. They give you different recipes, and she gives you different recipes in a book. So I like this. I actually use this a lot. I use this as a guide to understanding different foods, different types of foods. And these books will help you not to become bored with what you eat. Talks about your proteins, your carbs, stuff like that. Proteins, carbs, fats, things like that. So this is also a good book. It's called The Vegan Soul Food Guide to the Galaxy. Sorry, let me hold that up. Okay. The next book is called Vegan Soul Kitchen, and this is by Bryant Terry. So I've actually been following him for a while. I like this book because there's a lot of great recipes in the book, and he's actually a celebrity chef, vegan chef, and I think he might have been one of the first few black chefs that have come out, as a vegan, and he has a lot of great recipes in the book. Now I have to warn you, a lot of the recipes aren't exact. They may not be as healthy as they can be, and he explains that he wanted to make a book about recipes that, when your family and friends come over and they're meat eaters, that you could cook a meal that will make them forget about eating meat, that it's just as good as eating meat. So that's how he explains this particular book, and I have to say he's right, because I cooked a few meals from this book, and they were really, really tasty, and I didn't miss the meat. Okay, so those are the books that I've read. Those are some of my resources. But also there's a book called The Happy Healthy Vegan, and this is by Russell Simmons. And I haven't read it yet, but I've heard a lot about the book. He's all over the internet talking about veganism, and I really think that he's the one that has really brought veganism in the black community forward. So definitely worth checking out that particular book. There's another book called The World Peace Diet by Dr. Tootle. I like this book because he gives you every type of aspect. Like, he talks about a lot of different things. Now, let me just put this out there. I have not read the book, but I've heard him talk about the book through other videos that I've watched, and he actually did a lecture as well. Now, he actually talks about it as the cycle. He talks about the health aspects, he talks about cruelty to animals, but he also talks about the karma as well, and how harming the environment, harming animals actually comes back to us as far as violence, as far as rapes, and what happens in our world. And I think that he has a great point with that. And so, it's definitely worth checking out. It's called The World Peace Diet by Dr. Tootle. The other book was called Happy Healthy Vegan. Let me give you the other books that I mentioned. Vegan Soul Kitchen by Bryant Terry. Vegan Soul Food Guide to the Galaxy by Afia Abomu, I think. And By Any Means Necessary by Tracy McQuarter. Okay, so that's it for the books. And then I wanted to also mention some black celebrities as well, vegan celebrities that are vegan. John Sally, former NBA player. Dick Gregory, he was like one of the first vegans that came out. Erica Badu, although Erica Badu's a vegetarian, just wanted to make a note of that. Who else? There's a few others. Few others that I wanted to. Oh, Cory Booker. He's the mayor of New Jersey. He's actually been a vegetarian, and I think he started doing the vegan thing. Of course, Russell Simmons. Myra. She actually has been a vegan for a number of years. I love Myra. She's the R&B singer. So she's vegan. Andre 3000. Kimberly Elise. She did Diary Mad Black Woman. Persia White. She was in Girlfriends, and a whole host of other blacks that have come out as vegan. So I can't tell you enough the benefits of veganism. I can't even explain it enough, but I wanted to give you some resources in case you're interested in that particular lifestyle. And if anybody's interested, I mean, I mentioned a lot of black authors, but listen, any book, I think, except the World Peace Diet. But you know, in the African American community, it's a lot harder for us to implement a vegan-based diet, a vegan-based lifestyle, because so much of our food and connection comes from grandma cooking in the kitchen, cooking fried chicken in the kitchen, and et cetera, et cetera. So it's a little bit more challenge for our community. So I follow a lot of black celebrity vegans and chefs. But also check out the documentaries as well if you're interested in the vegan and vegetarian lifestyle. So going forward, again, please like, subscribe, and comment. I'll have a lot of race prep updates on fitness. I'll have a lot of other fitness tips on being a vegan athlete, or just in general, fitness in general for vegans. So I have much more coming out. Also, follow me, Live, Love, Aspire as well. Check out my website. Again, I do life coaching, image consulting, personal training as well. If you have any questions, just let me know. I think that's it for now. Hopefully, I covered everything. If you have a question, just leave a comment. Thank you so much, Lady Vegan Fitness. Live, Love, Aspire. Take care. Bye.